Sarah Ellis, and I'm here to give you my predictions about the future of the marketing industry as part of my Masters in Marketing and Digital Communications at Falmouth University. This presentation will provide a brief introduction to my professional background, outline 3 predictions and recommendations, and discuss my role in the future of the industry. My path towards this Masters hasn't been a straightforward one. When I left school, I went straight to university to study an undergraduate degree in literature. This was never the plan, as I always thought I'd be a biomedical scientist, but after some setbacks related to my disability, it was no longer possible to turn this dream into a reality. By the 3rd year of my degree, thoughts of being a scientist were long gone, and I knew I wanted to have a career where I could harness the power of words as a force for progress. I completed an internship that summer at PEGI Solutions, a company which, at the time, provided management services to ambulatory surgical centres across the US, specialising in colonoscopy. It was here that I trained in copywriting and SEO, and learned the most fundamental lesson of marketing. Marketers aren't here to sell stuff, we're here to create connections. Hearing the stories about how pieces I had worked on were helping doctors find new ways of communicating with patients really inspired me to pursue marketing as my career. During the final year of my degree, I took a lot of free online training courses related to marketing and began to do digital marketing for startups. I very quickly realised that I was capable of delivering results, but I wanted to dig deeper. Why were these results happening? I also noticed that there were few mainstream marketers and marketing agencies, besides Purple Goat, that were focusing on disability, and I identified a gap in representation in advertising and marketing more broadly. Both of these factors gave me the push I needed to apply for this master's programme. I didn't want to just hope for change, I wanted to be the change. Fast forward 2 years and I now have my own business, helping small businesses grow their online presence. My ethos is about learning, understanding and acceptance, and I like to think that I demonstrate that I can do brilliant work for our clients with my disability, not despite it. This passion for inclusion within marketing extends beyond lip service. The visuals involved in this presentation were created in Canva and are WCAG compliant, and subtitles were also added using CapCut. You will find that I reference inclusion and accessibility a lot of my recommendations for practitioners in the 3rd section of this presentation. This is not a coincidence. With the rise of new technology, the marketing industry has more opportunities than ever before to embed inclusion in its work. This leads me nicely into an overview of the predictions I'll be making today, which you can see on the screen. All of them are underpinned by academic and trusted industry sources found through a rigorous research process. I will look to provide some context behind my predictions and help you understand the rationale behind what I am saying. I hope that these predictions are engaging and can provide good grounding to start a thoughtful debate about the future of marketing among practitioners and non-practitioners alike. The metaverse and its expansion has become a hot topic in marketing over the past 5 years or so, with industry-leading publication The Drum even introducing the Drum Awards for the Metaverse in 2023. The metaverse is a virtual ecosystem of virtual reality and augmented reality technology. It's also known as XR. AR blends physical and digital reality, whilst VR creates a fully immersive digital experience. It will grow from an estimated $203.6 billion in 2025 to an estimated $2.346 trillion in 2032, making it a medium that brands should get to grips with. Brands such as Adidas Originals and L'Oréal Paris have previously launched campaigns utilising metaverse technology. Adidas Originals Osworld's global campaign for Spring-Summer 2022 encouraged users to create digital avatars based on their personality and inspired by footwear designs, which they could use to explore the digital space. This led to the generation of over 1 million avatars. On the other hand, L'Oréal Paris launched a virtual try-on technology in 2019 that allowed users to try on makeup using a selfie or a live shot. The initial launch campaign saw conversion rates triple on its main website, and the technology is now integrated into every advertising campaign and has also been rolled out for the brand's hair dye and skincare ranges. With 20% of British consumers excited to use the metaverse and 49% considering using it, now is the time for brands to target early adopters of this technology. Remember that although these numbers seem low, the technology is rapidly evolving and has yet to be widely adopted. Early indications from consumers suggest that content from brands focusing on the entertainment industry may be the most engaging, and also indicates that they prioritise brands that use the space to enable self-expression. This provides fertile grounds for brands to partner with movie and entertainment franchises to create gamified brand experiences with virtual product placement. When we consider that such virtual product placement for fast food and energy drink brands on Twitch gaming live streams are associated with both purchasing and consumption behaviours in over 18s, it's not hard to see how brand placement of products which consumers feel encapsulate the ethos of a movie in the metaverse could also be successful. Tentative though this assertion may be in making my case, we need only look towards the 2023 success of Barbie the movie to understand that there is an appetite for innovative movie-adjacent marketing. One of the biggest draws of this campaign, which ended up achieving a return on investment of over 550%, was the Barbie Dream House delivered in partnership with Airbnb. The Dream House was only available on Airbnb, and the company have publicly stated that participation in the campaign contributed to an overall rise of 11% in bookings worldwide for the second quarter of 2023. Could this dual entertainment franchise brand benefit be felt in the metaverse? Absolutely, especially given that the costs and labour associated with preparing a virtual space compared to a physical space are so much lower. As long as the brand used storytelling to communicate a compelling connection between the entertainment franchise and their product, consumers are likely to accept it as part of their universe. And if it follows in the footsteps of the fashion and beauty industry, the use of such technology will likely increase purchase intention and deliver satisfying experiences that allow consumers to be their best digital selves. The great AI debate feels like it's permeating all aspects of our life right now. A recent survey conducted by the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development found that 7 in 10 employees in the UK felt it was acceptable to use AI in the workplace, with one caveat: it must not be used to replace human beings. It's this inherent tension that the marketing industry must navigate to secure future efficacy, especially when it comes to influencers. Some commentators have argued that the purpose of using influencers in brand activities on social media is to humanise the brand and encourage collaboration and participation without following the typical conventions of advertising. The consumer response to this kind of advertising continues to be immense, with recently published statistics showing that 48% of Gen Z consumers worldwide learned of a brand or product for the first time via an influencer in 2022. The problem with influencer marketing is that when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Sometimes it can damage brand reputation and forces associations to be cut. Take lifestyle and beauty influencer Olivia Jade Giannulli. Boasting millions of followers across Instagram and YouTube, she had contracts with high-profile brands like Sephora and Amazon to promote their products to her followers. But this disappeared overnight when her parents were charged with bribery in 2019 over a college admissions scandal. After the arrest of her high-profile mother, the actress Lori Loughlin, both Amazon and Sephora withdrew their deals because the association could potentially impact trust and reputation. This is where virtual influencers come in. Virtual influencers are AI-generated characters that can be either created by a brand or their creators can be paid by a brand to have the character promote a product or service to their followers. The idea behind it is that unlike a human being, virtual influencers have no life outside of social media and are therefore not merely an extension of the brand, but part of its narrative. For brands like Disney, where image is everything, a longer-term strategic approach has been taken towards influencer marketing. In 2021, a virtual influencer called Ella was chosen to promote Disney Japan's Pride collection, celebrating diversity and being comfortable in your own skin. The way in which she was humanized and integrated into the standard influencer marketing campaign, as you can see on the screen, offers a glimpse into what I believe is the future of influencer marketing campaigns, the hybrid campaign. I define these campaigns as using virtual influencers that use subtle cues, such as appearance of actual human beings, to remind users of the fact that the influencer is a virtual creation born from human initiative. Consumer trust in social media advertising is low right now, with only 22% of Gen Z and millennial consumers trusting social media advertising in 2024. Whilst there are multiple factors underlying this distrust, deepfake scam ads play an important part. The UK's advertising watchdog, the Advertising Standards Authority, reported that this was its most complained about ad category in 2024. The problem here is that deepfakes use much the same machine learning processes to learn how to act like a human being as virtual influencers. In an era when consumers and professionals alike have been duped out of vast sums of money by deepfake celebrities, it is natural that the stories will generate headlines like those you see on the screen. But one thing shines through in all of these news stories: the desire for one thing: accountability. Whilst we can't restore trust in the machine learning technology overnight, we can add a human element to virtual influencer campaigns that adds a layer of accountability and authenticity. Down Syndrome International's 2023 Cammie's World charity promotional campaign, the first virtual influencer campaign ever to win at Cannes Marketing Lions. The charity worked collaboratively to gather information from over 100 young women living with Down syndrome to ensure that the virtual portrayal of Cammie was an accurate depiction of their lived experiences of the condition. Everything from mannerisms to appearance and speech pattern was considered, and the charity was transparent about its human collaboration throughout the campaign. Cammie also encouraged people in the Down syndrome community to submit fashion and makeup designs, which were drafted by humans before appearing on her. Again, this brief break in the narrative to subtly remind users of the human role in Cammie's existence was built in to foster a sense of trust and accountability. I predict that we will see this hybrid approach pushed further in the future, using virtual influencers to support and augment the promotions of living influencers. Perhaps like Cammie, more virtual influencers will be developed to represent traditionally underrepresented communities and to celebrate inclusivity. According to Mintel's 2025 Omnichannel Marketing Trend Report, global consumers are increasingly responsive to social media advertising, leaning towards absurdity and humour that breaks the fourth wall. This provides fertile ground for brands to experiment with virtual influencer campaigns in innovative ways without losing customer interest and allows them to slowly build trust in the technology. My final prediction for the future of our industry is that subscription-based content platforms such as Substack will continue to grow. Substack is a content creation platform that enables creators to share long-form content with subscribers in a newsletter or blog-style fashion. The platform functions as a community builder that encourages conversations and opens up dialogues. There are two tiers of subscription, free and paid. The free tier offers subscribers limited access to the creator's content, whereas a paid subscription offers full access to this content with the creator receiving 90% of the fee. What sets these platforms apart from social media subscriptions, such as X Premium, is that subscribers only pay to see content from creators that they want to see, rather than paying to upgrade the platform experience overall. This improves affordability and appears to be making it an attractive offer for consumers under 40. For example, X Premium costs £8 per month or £84 per year in the UK and includes features such as enhanced access to Grok, X's AI, the ability to upload videos up to 3 hours long, and the ability to create posts longer than 280 characters. In comparison, paid subscriptions on Substack can cost as little as £4 per month or £22 per year when exchange rates are taken into account. This subscription includes access to exclusive content from chosen creators and gives improved engagement capabilities to users. Consumers appear receptive to this new model of content marketing, with Substack having over 20 million active subscribers on the free tier and over 5 million on the paid tier, demonstrating year-on-year growth compared to 2024. Research has shown that social media users have been increasingly looking for alternatives to social media that they believe are less likely to spread misinformation since around 2022. Mainstream social media influencers and traditional media commentators such as Jim Acosta, Joy Reid and Mehdi Hassan have become wise to this, migrating a large portion of their social media presence onto Substack. And this is where brands wishing to be prepared for the future should sit up and take notice. Unlike traditional influencer marketing, reach is not a core concern on Substack. Instead, brands are looking to appeal to the niche audience of different creators, typically resulting in high levels of engagement from tailored campaigns. This has the potential to allow more underrepresented communities to feel seen and heard in a brand's content, especially when it's targeted specifically towards them. I think in the future, we'll likely see multiple tailored co-creation campaigns that laser target a specific audience, rather than the big budget, broader interest influencer campaigns we see from brands today. Admittedly, these do have target audiences, but there is such a thing as being considered too niche, which is a concern that is eliminated by subscription-based content platforms like Substack. Note the subtle shift in language from brand partnerships of influencer marketing campaigns to co-creation. The emphasis is no longer on the brand or the person they've partnered with, but on the content that they can create together to add value for subscribers. At this point, I think it is worth returning to the statistic on screen. Gen Z and millennial consumers are wary of social media advertising in an era where the proliferation of mis- and disinformation is so widespread. Subscription-based content platforms give brands the opportunity to redefine their relationship with advertising by still partnering with their favourite creators, but in a way that focuses on building relationships and trust, rather than just selling them stuff as they see it. With most subscription-based platforms having rules against explicit product advertising, and users having more control over what they choose to see, this definitely feels like a shift away from the old way of doing things that can benefit both brands and consumers. I would like to give some recommendations about how marketing practitioners can exploit these trends and get future ready. Note the difference in the visuals I have designed compared to the rest of the presentation. I felt it was more appropriate to feature my recommendations together to demonstrate how they build and complement each other rather than existing in isolation. The first recommendation I would like to give is that practitioners should ensure that the technologies leveraged for marketing campaigns are accessible to and inclusive of the target audience. Whilst it may be tempting to spend big on campaigns that use innovative technologies like those that contribute to the metaverse, it's important to remember that rates of adoption may vary locally, not just nationally. Practitioners should be looking to understand their target audience and how they consume marketing anyway. But it is even more important with technologies where adoption is in its early stages. If campaigns are created that the target audience cannot access, it is not going to provide a substantial ROI and may make the brand hesitant to use this technology in the future. Although such deep local understanding of a target audience inevitably takes more time to develop than simply targeting segments based on psychographic or demographic data, tools are already available to help practitioners navigate this process smoothly. For example, AI-driven customer experience mapping gives an individual insight based on prior knowledge, such as which technology the user has access to. It would be possible to analyse a cross-section of this data from a specific geographical region to understand whether new technologies are widely utilised in the area. The process of getting to know smaller audiences more thoroughly should also help practitioners understand how to tell a compelling story that represents that audience and makes them feel seen. And this leads on to my second prediction. Practitioners should continue to have human oversight of the technology they use to execute campaigns. Relying on technology alone without clearly communicating the humanity behind the campaign already proved disastrous for Microsoft in 2016 when Tay, a proprietary AI chatbot, started posting abusive and discriminatory tweets on Twitter, now X, without human moderation. As Down Syndrome International's Cammy's World campaign demonstrated, users were happy to suspend reality and interact with Cammy, even though there was clearly human oversight in getting makeup and dress designs from the idea to the execution. The acknowledgement of Cammy's virtual-only existence did not stop the campaign from helping young women with Down syndrome feeling represented in the digital world. Having this level of human oversight and transparency in campaigns not only helps to build user trust, but also makes it easier to mitigate damage to the brand's reputation if something does go wrong. This level of accountability, and to some extent fallibility, also ensures that users feel less wary of the technology. Whilst there may come a time where users will not need the human touch, it still remains to be seen when, or if, we'll get there. For now, the best thing practitioners can do is to help their audience feel safe and secure enough to explore brand content delivered via a non-human entity. We need to go a step further. If there's one thing that marketers rely on to measure progress on social media advertising and organic content, it's reach. Reach tells us how many people have seen the content and helps us track progress at a glance. Whilst reach may not even be included in the end of campaign report, in my experience, the idea of lots of people seeing this content is very appealing to non-marketing practitioners who may have a say in future budget decisions. If we stick to our rigid reliance on metrics, we will forget the most important thing emerging from the new subscription-based content platforms: audience experience. Users do not want to see generic content. They want to see content that resonates with them through a sense of community and mutual respect. Practitioners adopting this new style of marketing will undoubtedly see a reduction in key metrics like reach, even if they create a strategy that utilises traditional social media and these newer platforms. The key is to understand whether the brand is making an authentic connection with niche audiences, rather than how many people have seen its content. Given the fact that these platforms are emerging technologies, there may not be enough users on them to make it a viable alternative to social media advertising in some industries. But if all practitioners start focusing on building these connections pre-migration and post-migration, they will understand what engages their community and help facilitate a company-wide understanding of this new way of marketing. I want to spend the final few minutes of this presentation reflecting on my research project, my time on this course, and where I see myself fitting into the future of the industry. My research focused on representation of disability in charity Instagram advertising. When I set out on my major project journey, I set a research aim to understand how positive and negative representations of disability impacted consumer engagement and tension with these ads. But in my cross-section of women aged 21 to 45 living in Angus and the Mearns and working for a company with over 500 employees, the results took a rather unexpected turn. The positive-negative binary did not exist. Personal experience and social norms shaped their reactions instead. What seemed to impact their engagement intention more than anything else were practical features unrelated to disability, such as readability, colours, and use of emojis. I hope to use these findings to work with not-for-profit organisations as a freelance consultant on disability inclusive marketing and develop further related insights as I implement the actionable insights from my project. I believe that it will put me in a strong position to articulate how disability charities can use Instagram advertising effectively to boost engagement. I have taken my first steps towards this already, but I aim to become the established and trusted source for inclusive marketing advice in Scotland over the next 8 to 10 years. I hope that these credentials will attract attention from respected industry publications like Marketing Week and The Drum, which I relied so much on during my Masters. I would love to write articles capable of inspiring students to get curious about disability inclusive marketing. I want to get philosophical in these closing remarks. For the past 30 minutes, I have been telling you a story with two main characters, the marketing industry and Sarah Ellis. It's followed a narrative structure that gave you some background on my career, gave you an insight into how the industry may evolve, and reached a denouement by suggesting that the role I could play in the future of the industry may be a varied one. But the truth is, I am transient, and so are the technologies I discussed. The marketing industry survived long before I existed, and will survive long after. If there's one key takeaway I want my future self to remember from this degree, it is that the power of a data-driven story, like the one I've just told you, should never be underestimated. Stories are a primal way of connecting people and understanding the world. If we truly want to connect with our audience, we should be telling relatable stories through whatever technology exists at the time. And with that observation, I hope you find my story engaging. Thank you for listening.